You and what's his
You gonna
name?
drink?
What's his name? No, he brought in the whiskey for y'all to test.
Not every morning.
You had the whiskey guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. We have had a couple. We had a whiskey guy come in through, and then
Yeah,
we had
he was like a whiskey distributor, so he brought in, and they're all trying.
Yeah, it was
trying
for,
and that's probably the day that your got started. Yes, that's probably the day.
It's for all good things.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's for all things start or bad things.
Yes. Well, but they're good, and they're good. They just end up bad.
Yeah.
They all start with good intentions.
Yeah. Hold my beer and watch this.
Yes.
It's got me
Yes.
in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So next segment, we're obviously going to talk about interest rates, right?
Okay.
We'll probably refer to you on is that affecting what's going on right now? Should it affect people right now, their decision? Buy the house and then pull the interest rate, wait for the interest rate to come down later. And if you're waiting for the interest rate, which we talk about quite a lot on here, then you're actually missing out on money because you're trying to save $200-300 a month.
180 when it's all said and done.
And then in a year, if you would have bought now, you actually wasted $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we'll probably talk to that and what your thoughts on that is, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And
What else?
That's about it. Oh, we'll talk about buy downs, help listings.
Okay.
Yep. Right?
Okay.
Hello, Austin, Texas. You're listening to the Home Team with Troy and Wyatt, where we bring sports and money together for your education and entertainment. If you have any questions about anything we say today, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com or give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes by financing
Your
American Dream. Yes. And so this is the fun segment for me.
You like this?
This is the one that I know everything about. So
you know everything about?
Well,
That's
I
big
know
statement.
I know enough to know enough.
Actually, I tell you what.
I guess that's the better way to say that.
I've learned a lot from you. I'm just kidding with you, but you definitely do get excited about this portion because you learn how to help money make you money, right?
And or how to not give it away.
You're not giving it away.
Yeah, and so the previous segment being all about real estate, we had to bring on superstar Heather Jones from Magnolia Realty.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And just remember, if you need to or want to, especially if you want to go to that open house, reach out to her at 512-694-8343.
And that's October 15th.
Yes.
In Drippin.
Yes. Not the drip, but dripping.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're not going there.
We're talking about two different things, I guess,
That's correct.
apparently. My bad. So, I'm telling you, it's going to catch on.
I don't think so.
Yep.
No.
People used to say that about blue shorts. When I wore blue shorts, everybody wears blue shorts now.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah, they started putting 4 tires on the car.
Yeah.
You're such a trendsetter.
Yeah, you
That's the blue shorts.
It's-
And blue jean
Especially-
shorts.
Especially when you're like smash.
Yeah.
Smash.
Well, everybody started
The
dapping
subscribe.
instead of handshaking because of you too, right?
No.
Is that what you-
It's blue shorts was
The
made
blue
of.
shorts?
At least in this area.
Okay,
Yes.
fair enough. Fair enough. Blue shorts.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Good
Ah.
man. You are a nut. All right, so we have a lot going on in this
Well,
financial realm.
money's three things, right? It's how much you make, how much you spend, and how much you keep.
Yeah.
Right. And right now, how much you make is not going up compared to how much you spend.
Right.
And that's inflation. Basically, inflation's in the high, 3.9 is kind of the general number. It depends. There's like 15 reports out there. 3.9 is the one that the Fed looks at. 3.9% inflation year over year. Salaries are going up at about 3%. Year over year. So we're still losing money as far as inflation to salary average. But some people, with everything that's going on, they haven't gotten a pay raise. They just haven't.
Some have gotten a pay decrease.
Yeah, some people.
Quite a few.
Yeah, and so and it's how much you keep after that. Now, if you ask me, the first two are inconsequential to the third one, because if you make a whole lot but you spend a whole lot and you don't save anything, I've met people.
You're in the same boat as somebody that doesn't make money.
I remember when I first learned that I had no idea about money was like 15 years ago, and I went to do an application for a loan for some people buying an investment property, and I went to their house, and it's just a nice, normal little neighborhood home, in Hutto, and we sat down, and I'm taking their application, and they both work at Walmart, and they both worked there for years, and I think they were making $13 and $16 just an hour, and they had been stock optioning the whole time they were there, and they owned 2 free and clear rental properties and were buying a third, and they were trying to decide compared to the rates if it was cash or not. And I'm like, what?
What's going on here? I thought, how's this possible, right?
You know, and I was making good money, and I had nothing compared to these people. That's when I realized that everything I learned about money was wrong. And I had to go relearn it again. And so that's why I like this segment, because, you know, I'm not the smartest or anything else, but I have done well in the last 15 years, but that's because somebody opened my eyes and said I was doing it all really wrong. And so that's where this segment comes from. It comes about learning about money. The easiest thing right now is expenses to control, because unfortunately, we have become a society of expenditures. I mean, let's think about it.
We get marketed from the time we wake up in the morning. Most people, they look at Facebook. They say the amount of people who look at Facebook first thing in the morning. That's the first thing they look at it.
68% of Americans, the first thing they do is flip on social media before they get out of bed. 68% grab the phone and thumb through social media.
And we all know that
the first thing is swiped by this.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you got it. And it's all marketing, right?
Yeah.
We get these things for free because we're the product.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're being marketed left and right.
Yeah, and you know, and that's the hard part, is that to understanding, but, you know, teaching compound interest. The nice thing is that, you know, like Colton, who used to be on the program and everything else, but my kid, you know, he's been working at my company for a while, so I've kind of been able to, you know, force some things down his throat that if he was working for somewhere else, I wouldn't be able to. And so he started a 401k, you know, a few years ago, you know, and he's putting in just enough to get the full match, and that's it. And he hasn't paid much attention or anything else, and, you know, got married and complained about his savings and everything else. And then he looked at his 401k and he's like, wow, there's a lot of money in there. I'm like, well, yeah. I go, you're not putting hardly anything in there. And he's like, I know. And I go, it's called compound interest, you know, but you got to start young, or especially younger than me, to make it work for you, you know. But and that's what
So you're saying that it's hopeless for me.
It's not hopeless.
For an old guy like me, it's hopeless.
We just have to be more aggressive.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we just have to be more aggressive.
And maybe start investing in real estate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
real estate's a good one. Right?
Real estate is an amazing one. I've done very well with real estate over the years, and I've taught people about the way I did it, because, you know, there are guidelines and rules to buying real estate, but there's also ways to work with those guidelines. You know, buying a home as a primary owner is way more affordable than buying it as an investor.
Correct.
So you buy a house to live in it, right? And you live in it for a couple years, right? And then you go buy another house and you rent that one out.
Explain why you have to wait 2 years.
Well, 2 years is just this kind of.
I know. I just want to
It's
people
this.
who don't know.
It's this number to where it's far enough into the future that when you bought this home, they can't say that you were buying an investment home. Right?
Okay.
If you move in and in the 6 months you're out, they're going to no, this was your plan all along.
Right.
And it makes it harder to buy the second one, because now they're thinking that you're fraudulent on your. I can't believe I said that word out loud. It even sounded bad coming out, but on your application. So the idea is you want to buy this home to live in it for 2 years, and then at 2 years you go do it again, and so your down payment's less.
Is that capital gains taxes that you're worried about with that?
No, it's just falling within the guidelines of all the mortgage companies.
So if you want to get a home loan and not for an investment,
right?
It's about a 2 year mark.
It's a 2 year commitment.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, and that's just kind of what it is. You know, FHA has a 6 month in the deed that if you transfer deed in the first 6 months, they could literally call everything due and all, you know, everything else. So, you know, like I said, there's no hard and fast rule, but mortgage companies, if you try to buy another home faster than 2 years, a second time, they're going to be like, no, this is an investment. You can't do this. You know, but if you hit that 2 year mark for some reason, there's just no question, you know, and I've seen people push it, you know, year and a half or something like that and try to buy another one, you know, and it just becomes a hard time trying to prove that they're buying a primary. So just buy it, move into it, fix it all up, make it nice and pretty, and then move out, you know. And when they're buying these investment homes, these primary homes that they're going to turn into investments, you know, they should tell you this, because, you know, you as the realtor can say, hey, look, this is a good school district. This home will rent well. This home is, you know, next to a power junction box, and it will not rent well. You know, whatever, things like that. That, you know, you can help guide them through the right area.
And Wyatt knows also that I'm really good with decorating. I do some interior design work, so I can also always chime in with my clients and say, hey, don't spend a lot of money on those custom cabinets, because your tenants may tear them up, or whatever. But I can always chime in on what's worth the investment and really isn't.
And that gray accent wall when you're trying to remodel before you sell it might not be necessary.
No, I saw the color of the month is like red 12 for Sherwin-Williams, and it's really, really red. I was like, "Ooh, don't do that, guys. Don't do that."
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't, and it takes more than a couple coats to get rid of that deep red like that.
Like or John Deere Green.
Oh, what?
You remember that country song?
Yeah, it's a good song. Good song. So the one thing I think that's on everybody's mind right now, and both of y'all can answer this, is the interest rates have the mortgage rates have gone up, and they're staying up there for right now.
They are the highest they've been in 26 years, almost over in 3 decades.
So I mean that could scare a lot of people off. Heather, are you saying that that's happening, and should they be scared?
Yeah, I mean, I do see that buyers are a little more hesitant than they have been. Certainly, no, it shouldn't scare them. I mean, I think at this point everyone's heard, marry the house, date the rate. But really, I mean, when I bought my first house in 2001, we did something called an 80-15-5. We put 5% down. That's all we had. We financed 15%. That looked like we had the 20%, and then we had a loan for 80. I think our first mortgage was 6%. The second one was 8.5%, and it was temporary. We refinanced. We sold. We bought another house, and we've from there have investment property. And so no, I don't think you need to be afraid of it. I think that you need to look at what are homes selling for. We talked about that in the last segment. They really are selling within list price, reasonable. When rates drop, you're going to be paying far more, possibly way above list price, and that's going to be more out of your pocket than what you would have spent in a 2% higher interest rate over the course of a year or two. So, no. You shouldn't be afraid.
And it sounds counterintuitive, right? I mean, you see, why would I buy at the highest interest rate? And really, it's because we're still in a housing crisis, and so. When these interest rates go down, then the demand for houses go up, and when the demand for houses go up, what's the pricing? It goes up as well.
Yeah, we're also, I'd say we're also in a very neutral market, and so a lot of sellers right now are also offering buy downs for buyers. They're going to buy down that interest rate. That'll give you a lower interest rate for the first year or two, and it can bump up from there. Hopefully, by that point, you can refinance.
And one more time. So we talked a little bit about this open community, open house. Sorry, I said that backwards. Open house. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know why that was so hard for me to get out. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so out in Belterra, if you guys are looking to head out towards Dripping Springs, get out of the city limits a little bit, there is going to be a community-wide open house with over 20 homes open to the public. October 15th from 1 to 4.
1 to 4. And how do people get a hold of you?
Heather Jones, 512-694-8343. If you don't want to call me, you can text.
All right.
And that's Heather Jones, Magnolia Realty.
Magnolia Realty, yep.
Through the social media, yeah. Hey, everyone, I'm telling you, this is a great opportunity because the sellers are more motivated now than they've been in a long time. Buying down the rate, having the seller pay for that right now, you'll be able to, in a year from now, you won't be able to do that. I mean, the numbers are starting to tweak now to where next year we're going to start seeing a decline. And so you need to take advantage of it. You've been listening to The Home Team with Troy and Wyatt. We hope you've enjoyed what you've heard. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com. Give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And this segment was brought to you by Security National Mortgage. We'll see you in a week. Or a minute.
We'll see you in a week.